Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geeks Unleashed. For those of you who don't know, you're probably wondering what we're all about. Basically, every week we're joined by a special guest, and we get to chat about what makes them a geek and what makes us a geek when we're all pretty geeky. If you have watched before, you're probably wondering what my face is doing here. I don't usually host these things, so that's exciting. But Maud Garrett, our fearless leader, is on a plane right now, so she's left me in charge. I am Taz. You can find me at TazPants, and I'm joined on the panel today by our website editor, Toby. So say hi.
Hello.
And a fan as well, actually. We put the call out on Tumblr to grab someone just from the Cool Clone Club, and we have Miriam, who's in New York City.
Hi.
Welcome. And, of course, our special guest, straight from Orphan Black, who she plays the clone double for Tatiana Maslany, is Kathryn Alexandre. Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're in Canada, so we're all around the world today.
Yeah.
Which is super fun. Okay, so before we get started, for starters, congratulations on Season 3. That was the big news this week.
It was. Thank you.
Do you know when you start filming?
I think it's scheduled for September. So.
Cool. That's so you get a little bit of a break beforehand?
Yeah, a little bit of time to prepare mentally. But it's awesome. Cool. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So we usually start off, what we do is we have a round of quick-fire questions, which means we're going to ask you some questions, or I'm going to ask Kathryn some questions, and then Kathryn, if you can ask Toby some questions, and Toby will ask Miriam some questions, and Miriam will ask me some questions, just to get to know you. So they're going to be quite random. Say the first thing pops into your head, and people, we'll just see how it goes. So Kathryn, firstly, What is the first movie that you ever remember seeing?
First movie.
You're super young.
I think it was like Pocahontas.
That's a good one.
In the theater, which was pretty cool, and I still love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of the. Is that your favorite Disney movie?
I don't know. There's some good ones. I do like that one. Then there's like Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about Aladdin, actually. Aladdin is my favorite.
Yeah, Aladdin's pretty great. They're all good.
It's hard to choose. Okay, Second question, even though you got an extra little question in there.
Yeah.
What album what album has the most plays on your iPod, iPhone, etc.?
Probably Augustana. It's Dan Lay's. And also Twin Forks, I think is new. Cool. Florence and the Machine.
Nice, good choice. Yeah, that's okay. Top 5. All right, lastly, who would win in a fight, you or Tatiana playing you?
Tatiana playing me, for sure. Yeah. She's pretty feisty.
Yeah, she's got some guns on her, too.
She does. She's much more fit than I am. Yep.
Cool. So if you could ask Toby 3 random questions, whatever pops into your head.
Sure, Toby. Yeah. So you're in film school. What's your, I hate this question, but your all-time favorite movie?
My all-time favorite movie. It's a tie between Kick-Ass and 50-50.
Cool. What's your favorite season?
Of Orphan Black.
Of the year. Sure, of Orphan Black.
Well, there's 2 to choose from, so I'm gonna go with 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about, who would you want to play if you were on the show?
If I was on the show, that's a hard question. I like, as much as it's a weird choice, I'd like to play like Paul.
Cool.
Go with Paul.
Play Paul? Yeah. Why not? You get to make out with multiple clones, right? So.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it.
Cool. Toby, hit Miriam with some questions.
All right. So you've been told to adapt a superhero movie into a theater musical. What do you call it, and who stars in it?
What? Okay, wait. So, I think that Iron Man would keep its name, would be a great musical, only in the sense of that it's the person that came to my mind. It would be called Iron Man, and I have no idea who would star in it. Somebody very attractive.
All right. What was your favorite television series growing up?
I didn't watch a lot of TV as a kid. Let's see. I I didn't start watching television until I was in college when I would binge watch everything. As a kid, I liked Rugrats, like every good 90s kid.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll go with that.
Okay. Disregarding Helena, if all the clones were out to kill you and you could only choose one to protect you, who would it be?
To protect Sarah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think Sarah could take on all of the other ones combined, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Allison's pretty resourceful, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. If she had a gun, different story. What about Beth? Does Beth count in that scenario?
Yeah, she can count.
So I feel like you want a cop on your side, right?
That's true, too.
Cool. Great questions. Miriam, do you have some for me?
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Me too. Let's see. What are all of the things on the badges on your book on your shelf behind you from?
Those are all because we work in video games, so they're like from video game conventions and just parties and things that we get to go to, which is kind of fun.
That's awesome. And then third question, also going off your awesome background there. Who are the dudes on your shelf on the right?
On my shelf?
You're right.
Well, there's tons of dudes. But yeah, this way, that one.
Yeah.
The two big ones, those are from Assassin's Creed, which if you're not a gamer, won't mean much. He's also up there too. Got like a bunch of them hanging around.
Okay, I haven't played that one.
Cool. Great questions. Feel like I know you all so much better. Let's get into it. Kathryn, I guess I want to start with sort of your background. When did you start acting and what made you want to start?
Well, I started dancing ballet when I was 3. And then when I was a bit older in ballet, I started doing a lot more like recitals and performances. I was in the Nutcracker, so I was on stage a lot. And that's kind of when I fell in love with being on stage. So I think I was 11 when I started taking acting classes. And so I did it, kind of took classes and did community theater type of thing all throughout my childhood. And then I went to theater school for like my university education. And now it's professional, which is cool.
Do you get to still do much dancing, or is that in the past?
I don't do much dancing anymore. I would like to. I still, like every few months, I'm like, I need to take a ballet class again, and then I don't do it. But once I started university, my schedule was so busy that I stopped dancing. And then since then, that's about 7 years ago, so now it's kind of fizzled out.
You don't really have the time anymore, do you? Like, it's like, when did you do it?
Kind of, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, firstly, for people, I guess, that don't know, can you give a brief overview of what your role is and how it works? Which is, I know, a huge question in a condensed packet.
Yeah, so it's so on Orphan Black, I am Tatiana's performance double. So basically, I'm called in whenever she is playing more than one person in a scene. So I put on the wigs for her characters, I'm in the costume of her characters, and we film the scene with her being Sarah, for instance, and I'm Allison. So they put the camera behind me and shoot over my shoulder as Allison, if that's the one that I said that I was. We do the whole scene like that, and then we go into hair and makeup, and we flip characters, and then we come back and we film it all again, reversed. So basically, I'm just there to give her a person to act off of, and to make the filming of the show easier and more seamless, because it's not all computer graphics. They have another person in the room to use, which is me. So yeah, if that made sense.
Absolutely.
That's
so
what I do.
People would probably recognize the back of your head and your shoulder quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the majority of the scenes.
Yeah, and like my cheek.
Yeah, that's true. Very
and sometimes my eyelashes. And my small hands.
So actually, that's a good point. When they cast you as someone's, like, look-alike, how much of that do they have to take into consideration? Is it based just on, like, the side of your face, or, like, how did that come about?
Well, they were casting an actor, first of all, but it was more the height requirement. and kind of like skin tone that they were really matching. So I had about 2 auditions where they were basically just judging my acting, and then they brought Tat in. We acted off each other in an audition, and then they put us side by side, and we're matching just kind of like our weight and our height, our hair, even though most of the time I'm wearing wigs, just because it's easier. But yeah, our hair and our skin tone. So it was definitely, they needed someone who was going to be pretty similar to her, but it did seem like acting was their number one kind of deal to cast, which was nice that it wasn't totally just based on the looks, because you can fudge a lot of things with wigs and costumes and such. But yeah, we did have to be pretty similar.
Is there one part of you that is like significantly different to Tatiana that has like been an issue or anything? You said small hands.
Yeah, my hands are very small. So there's quite, especially in season 2, there's a few instances where 2 clones put their hands together, and you can definitely, like Helena and Sarah, when Helena is, these are spoilers, but when Helena has the sniper rifle, and then she gets down off the table and they put their hands together, mine is considerably smaller. So that, you can't really do anything about that, but they try to like put the like sleeves up a bit so it looks like the rest of the hand is just kind of like hidden by the sleeves of the costume. I also have to sometimes, mostly just in season 1, I wore shoulder pads because my shoulders they kind of dip a lot more than Tats are kind of more broad than mine are. Yeah, that's basically, those are kind of the 2, and the bustal region has to be contained a little bit on me. But those are the 3, I guess, main ones.
She almost needs like just a hand double, just for those one scene.
Yeah, she has quite a few hand doubles. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you do like the normal kind of stuff? Obviously, as a double, you would usually do like inserts and blocking. Is that all you as well, or is there somewhere else?
There's usually someone else. They have stand-ins that are separate from myself. And they usually have photo doubles, which do hand inserts. Sometimes I do them if I'm there and they just need something quick, or if they're kind of, their schedule's really packed and they have too much to do with a photo double, they'll bring me in. But usually I am reserved just for like principal acting alongside her and not standing in or anything like that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a bit of a step up from the double work.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any double work before?
No, I hadn't. Yeah, so it was cool that I am a double, but I'm also really considered an actor on the show. So I am paid as an actor and that kind of thing. So it's nice, but it's really cool to be able to kind of sit back and watch and learn so much and kind of have such a integral role on the show, but not the pressure of actually like being the star of the show. So it's neat for kind of my first big television experience to be able to kind of watch and learn and soak it all in.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the biggest thing you think you've learnt so far from the rest of the cast?
Oh my God, there's so many. It's really just like how television works and just having to repeat something over and over again, but make it so natural and alive each time. And Tad is such kind of a generous actor, and she gives you so much every single time. So just kind of learning the endurance of it and how much wait time there is, and then you have to be on when you're on, and how much prep you have to do beforehand because there's no time to kind of baby you. And in theater rehearsals, you have time to talk it through and try different things, but in television, you show up and you do it, and if it's wrong, they'll fix it, but it's kind of like you gotta be ready to go right away. Yeah, so I guess just kind of like watching how people work and how they prepare and how they get themselves to the place that they have to be before action. So, yeah.
That's really cool. Toby, you have a question about the sort of audition process?
Yeah. So with the audition process, when you got the call that you were in, were you apprehensive at all knowing that the role was like so demanding?
No, not at all. I was just so excited. Yeah, I was stoked. I don't think I totally knew what it was going to become, and I don't think anyone else really did either, until we started doing it. But like I had the one audition with Tat where we played off of each other, and coming straight out of theater school, pretty much, it was cool because it was just like improv, and it was kind of what I was used to doing. So yeah, it's never once been like, oh my God, this is so much work, or this sucks. I'm just always like, bring it on, it's awesome.
Not even after the 17-hour days?
No, those are cool.
Crazy. I feel like I would give up.
Is that normal? Is that a normal television film schedule, like 17-hour days?
I think it pretty much is. There are some shows that that have less hours than that, especially if you're working on kind of like a lighter show or a comedy or a family show that doesn't have kind of such intense scene work to figure out, and we do a lot of locations, so that takes a lot of extra time than just working in a studio, and we also just have an actress that's in every single scene, so that makes for 17-hour days because she has to get ready and change into different characters at some point and breathe sometimes, so yeah, and lots of CG. Yeah.
I have a question. I was wondering, I was thinking, well, there was a picture that went across Tumblr of the two of you guys sitting next to each other at a table read. And I was wondering what that is like. Are you two reading the different characters? Do you decide that before the read, or does she just switch into different accents and go through the whole thing?
We usually, yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like its own little show, just at the table read. But usually I sit right beside her, and we will separate characters when like Sarah and Allison are talking to each other. So usually she'll just kind of like nudge me and say like, be Sarah. So then I'll start and be Sarah, and she'll be Allison, and she'll kind of decide the more dominant character in the scene she tends to read for table reads, or if it's a newly introduced clone, then she'll read them to kind of give people to test it out herself, and also kind of give people a vibe of what that character is going to be like. So yeah, usually she's just kind of like nudging me and telling me who to play. But sometimes when there's like 4 characters, then we end up just kind of looking at each other and talking at the same time, being a whole bunch of different characters and flip-flopping. So it's fun when you go from like Allison to Sarah, and then you're Helena, all in the span of 3 seconds.
There are so many characters. Have you played all of the clones, other than obviously like Jessica, or I can't remember what her name is. Jennifer, that's the one.
Yeah, Jennifer was the only one that I didn't play. And I would have really liked to, and she had that kind of like Minnesota accent, which was cool. But yeah, she's the only one that I didn't play. I've played everyone else.
Cool. And considering you played Alexis as well, you now have like an equal number with Tat. You both played the same amount of characters, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you work just as hard.
Yeah.
Speaking of the characters, obviously Tatiana talks a lot about how she gets like her methods of getting into the characters. Do you have like different ones for yourself, or do you borrow some of the sort of techniques from her?
Yeah, like I have my own kind of actor warm-ups that I do, my own vocal warm-ups and my own physical warm-ups. But in terms of getting, like specifically getting into her characters, I do kind of adopt her warm-ups for them. Because the way that she warms up for them is where she wants to place her voice and where she places her physicality for them. So if I'm imitating her, then it makes sense for me to get my body prepared the same way that she does and get my voice prepared the same way that she does. So yeah, I think I pretty much have the same physicality and kind of same vocal warm-ups as she does.
So do you use music like she does, or is that just something she does with the playlists?
Yeah, I actually don't use music, but she uses music. And a lot of the times I kind of do use music because she'll be playing it in the hair and makeup trailer as we're getting ready. But usually I'm playing the opposite character at that point anyway. So,
yeah, that can be confusing for you. You're hearing like Helena, you're getting ready for Allison.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's really, really interesting to watch her prepare for each of them and flip between all of them. So it's great for me to kind of watch and learn because she's so talented.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think that would be crazy, crazy fun to watch. In
Yeah.
terms of like when there's a multi-clone scene, obviously sometimes you must play a character before she plays it because you do the, you know, the first run through. So do you get much direction from her beforehand, or is it sort of up to you to wing it?
Yeah, it kind of depends. I try to get as much from her as I can without being a nuisance. So for a brand new character, I actually ended up playing Tony before she ever played Tony. So that one was kind of, and she was out of the country because she was at the Golden Globes. So that one I was kind of, when I figured out that I had to do just kind of a small scene as him first, I hadn't heard anything. I hadn't even seen what Tony was going to look like. So I was just kind of like, can you give me a rundown of what he sounds like and how he moves? So she did that for me. And I requested at the beginning of season 1 to be sent all the dailies for everything that they're shooting. So everything that they shoot every day gets sent to me via email, and I can watch everything. So that's how I kind of prepare all of her other clones. So I can watch as she goes along, how she plays Cosima and how she plays Rachel and how they sit and how they walk and how they stand and how they talk, so that when I get to set and I'm playing someone before she is, I can kind of anticipate how they're going to move in that scene. Yeah, and then we kind of just quickly play it out together, and sometimes, and she'll be like, I think I'll do this here, I'll do that there, but it's, especially in season 2, it's pretty loose, and I can kind of anticipate better now how they're going to kind of maneuver their way through scenes. But
you must know the characters quite well now, so it's probably heaps smoother, which is handy.
Yeah.
In season 3, obviously, it's going to be even better. I bet you know these people like the back of your hand type thing by this point. I mean, so many hours.
Yeah. So it's pretty. Sometimes there's always things that come up where a character's in a new kind of situation, and I'll be like, how, because I never want to kind of like proposition something. I want to leave the creative process up to her. So I'll just go to her and be like, how does Rachel cry, or how far are you going to go with this, and see what her instinct is. Or like the scene with Sarah and Helena in the bathroom, where Helena kind of rises and comes towards her. It was kind of like, how deep is Sarah going to go? How far is she going to react? And Tad actually played Sarah first, which was really helpful in that scene. So it's pretty loose communication between the two of us.
Yeah, Miriam, did you have a question?
I have a couple of questions. You had talked about the dailies. Are you looking for anything specific for each character, like, or are you just trying to just sponge up everything that Tatiana does so that you can, which is kind of counteractive to what actors typically do, is learn somebody else's mannerisms and impulses instead of, and in addition to the character?
Yeah, like I try and just sponge up everything that I can, but I do look for specifics in terms of, and it's kind of a bit easier to do in person, but I'll look for kind of like where they hold their weight. So like Sarah kind of is a leany character, and she's always on one leg, is always bent, or Cosima kind of always has like her head tilted, and so like where Rachel puts her hands and clasped in front of her, or clasped behind her, or so I'll look for those kind of specific character triggers, and like Allison's thing on her face, her hand. So yeah, I'll look for those, and their speech patterns and that kind of thing will be specifics, and I'll kind of, while Tat is blocking, I'll be like mimicking things behind her and mumbling under my breath, and then I'll go off in a corner and try to repeat it a bunch of times before I have to do it, so that I can remember where her hand was when, and what hand was on her hip and which hip was swayed which way, and that kind of thing. So it's pretty detailed. I try to get as detailed as I can.
That's
cool.
It's very technical. Like that must be quite a different thing to just acting, as a character, just to have to be so exact. Like, have you felt like that's helped you in other areas of your acting, or is it sort of counter to what you would normally do? Like, has it maybe stopped you from having that like freedom?
It does in a sense. I think more the area where it kind of stops me a bit is that I can't totally follow my impulses because I don't want to do something that will differ from what Tat does when she plays the character. So if in blocking she's kind of gone through the motions that she thinks she's going to do as Helena, then I will just try to kind of repeat those motions mostly, so that I'm not kind of moving to a different place than she intended to. So that is a little more limiting. In season 2, I was tried to be a bit more loose, because Tat is such a loose actor, so she would organically just react to something, and that's where kind of trying to know the characters as well as I can comes in handy, so that I'm still reacting in a way that Cosima will. So in terms of places, like touching your face during a scene or little things like that, I'm a little more limited in something that I would normally do, just because I don't want the continuity to be skewed. So I guess it's more helpful in a sense because I'm so acutely attuned to my parameters that I can move in, and technically I've become, I think this will probably be one of the most technical roles I will probably ever get, so I'm pretty good at hitting marks and stuff now like that. But yeah, sometimes it would be nice to be able to forget all of that and just play the scene, which is harder to do in my role. I don't know if that really made sense, but...
Is there one character that's like particularly difficult to get into, like to get in that mindset?
Helena is difficult because she's awesome to get into, and it's almost more liberating in a sense because she's so free and she'll do whatever, kind of, but that also makes it a little bit difficult because I know that when Tat plays Helena, she's going to do something like nuts that no one would be able to anticipate. So when I play Helena, it's like I try to go as far as I can with being like so in tune with her body and being so just kind of unfiltered. But that's kind of what I mean with it's hard to go as far as I might or as far as I think Tat might go because I don't know she's going to go that far with something, so I am still kind of confined in Helena, even though Tat will probably do something crazy. So it's interesting. Like sometimes if I play Helena first, I'll try and, especially if it's a scene where she's kind of like the scene in season 1 where she's in the kind of like angelic pose in the in Maggie Chen's apartment, and Sarah comes in with the gun, and Helena is like crawling towards her on the ground and is being crazy. I like threw in a spit at one point because I was playing Helena first, and like you kind of want to keep Sarah on edge, and so I try to do those little things that you might not be able to see from the camera behind me if I don't move too much, but try to kind of through this do things that will kind of shock her or keep her on edge and are just kind of really primal and animalistic. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. But yeah, I think Helena's just kind of Helena's the hardest to allow myself to go as far as I know that Tat will go, kind of.
Yeah. One of the questions we got like all across the board, everyone wants to know, do you have a favorite clone to play?
Everyone always wants to know that. They're all so good.
It's like picking a child, isn't that what Tatiana says?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's hard. I love them all for. That's the great thing about the show is that all of their stories are so unique that it's fun to play at, like suburban drama, comedy, thing with Allison, but then it's fun to play the like high-powered, very nicely dressed, stoic Rachel, and then it's cool to play Sarah, who's just kind of like loose and will move more, and then Cosima with all of her hand movements and the science, and in her world is so much fun. So I don't, and like Helena, I don't think I can pick one. They're all so good. I like Allison. I didn't get to play her very much in season 2, and by about episode 7 or 8, I was just like, I'm in withdrawal from Allison. I want to play her again.
Yeah, because those Felix and Allison scenes are so funny. That would have been so much fun to play. I bet they had a ball. I would be interested to know actually what you other guys, Miriam, Toby, what are your favorite clones? Who are your favorite clones? Because I'm rocking a Helena shirt today. This is my Helena one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I mean, going back to the bracelet I showed everyone before it went on air, I can show that again. My favorite clone is Cosima. But it's like a combination of like, I really love Cosima and Sarah. I really like the dynamic that the two of them have.
My favorite's, do you want to keep going? Sorry.
I'm good. I
okay.
could.
My favorite's Helena, but I also really like Allison. I really like those, like what you said before, with Felix and her, like the connection and the way they feed off of each other is so funny. And that made it, like, that season especially so enjoyable.
Yeah, I would love to see like a comic book of just interactions between Allison and Felix, and then like Sarah and Helena. Just little one-off scenes of just, I'm sure shit goes down off camera that would be hilarious between those two.
Yeah.
There were about like I was gonna say there were about like 4 or 5 times throughout watching mostly season 1 where I was like, I was so scared of Helena that I just almost stopped watching the show, and I was like, no, I'm gonna get through this. I can be a big girl. But I find her to be terrifying. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting, right? You were going to say something, Kathryn?
Yeah, just Allison and Felix, when Tat and Jordan are playing them on set in those scenes that they have together, they like to improv a lot before the cameras are rolling. So in a lot of their scenes, they're a little more looser with the dialogue, and they'll throw in kind of one-liners. So it's so much fun for me to watch the dailies, and it rolls a little bit before they call action, and then Allison and Felix are having this whole scene playing out that the two of them are just improvising before they go into their scenes, and it's super cool as an actor to watch that, and two actors that are so close and so comfortable with each other that they're improvising within their characters before action is called, and I think that just is what has made that relationship so much fun to watch on screen, because they're so kind of in tune with each other.
Yeah, so much fun.
That's amazing.
So
I like remembering the fact that that Allison and Felix met and she was holding a gun to him. I think that's funny to see how their arc has changed, because you forget that.
Yeah, that's true. I actually just watched that scene before, and I was like, yeah, that's such an interesting thing. Now they're like best friends. In season 2, actually in the finale of season 2, there's gonna be spoilers. I think people have probably watched the show by now if they're watching this. We had the 4-clone dance party, which is crazy, and that must have been impossible to do. But is there another crazy idea with clones that you would love to see, Kathryn, come to life? Like maybe 10 clones or something crazy.
Whoa. Yeah, I've been, like, it would be awesome if there was, like, 10 of them to do, what is that movie? The Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling movie, where he's, like, teaching him how to date.
Oh,
Crazy Stupid Love?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, there's a scene in that where it's done probably with a techno dolly like we do on Orphan Black, where I think it's Steve Carell is, like, in all different areas of the bar, and it kind of like goes through the bar, and he's popping up all over the place. It would be cool to do a scene where there's like 10 of them in a room, and you just kind of see them all in like one big long shot of all of these clones interacting with each other, which is kind of what we did with the dance. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a situation that could be happening that I'd want to see happen.
Did you get to play all
like
the
dancing
clones during the dance party, or were you like a clone? Because they showed pictures that you were Helena.
Yeah, it was mostly, I was Helena the whole, it took 2 days to shoot that scene. So I was Helena the whole first day, and I was Cosima the whole second day, I believe.
So you didn't get to do the Allison
To
dance?
give everyone.
I didn't, no. I did it off camera, because it was fun, and the, like, thing that she did, and same with Sarah. I didn't get to be Sarah. But, because there were 2 other clone doubles, Bailey Corneal and Heidi Malley, that are kind of stand-ins and photo doubles, so it's a lot of fun when they get to do the performance aspect of it too. But Helena and Cosima were kind of the more dominant in the scene proceeding, the little scene where Helena is introduced to all of them. They have the most dialogue, so that's why I was playing those 2.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I actually got whiplash from playing Helena the whole first day.
That's some great dancing.
Yeah, I couldn't move my neck for
Wonderful.
a few days after that.
How many hours did you do as Helena in that day?
I don't know. It was probably like an 18-hour day or so, and so I probably spent a good couple hours moving my head around like that. So, yeah.
That's intense. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we would mix it up before we move on a bit. We're going to play a game, and I'm going to try and be not swearing when I say the name of the game. So you've probably heard of it. It's marry, sleep with, kill. So sleep with, let's not say the F word today. But I'm going to give you 3 characters. Actually, everyone's going to do it. But Kathryn, I'm going to give you 3 characters from Orphan Black. You have to choose one you would marry, one you would sleep with, and one you would kill. So out of Donnie, Cal, and Paul.
Okay. Donnie and Cal and Paul. So I would probably marry, sleep with. I'd probably, that's really, I'd probably have to kill Paul.
He's too shifty.
Probably have to kill Paul. He's just too shifty. You don't know what's going on with him. Who would I marry, Cal or Donnie?
Well, you know Donnie's always got your back. Like, he's gonna help you through the tough times.
Yeah, but Cal seems like a good guy and like a good dad.
But he's shifty
I might
too.
marry.
There's shifty stuff happening there too.
Yeah, but he's kind of like exciting. I might marry Cal because then you could sleep with him lots of times.
Yeah.
And then just sleep with Donnie.
Cool.
Maybe.
I think that's a good choice. Cool. Do you have 3 characters you could ask Toby?
Oh, wow. I guess they all have to be clones. Let's do...
You could sleep with some dudes, I don't think you know.
Yeah. Let's do Delphine, Cosima, and Helena.
God, okay. I'll marry Cosima. She might cark it later on, but she's good for now.
It's only a short relationship.
I would sleep with Delphine, and I'd have to get rid of Helena because she's too unpredictable. After I fed her, she'd probably kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be a worry. Cool. You got some for Miriam?
Yep. Let me just grab it up. Art, Leaky, and Paul.
Ooh. I guess then it would be marry Art, kill Leaky, and sleep with Paul.
Yeah, that one was kind of easy.
Yeah. Oh well. Art's the easy option there.
He's the most loyal.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, and now I have to think of names. Oh no. Wait, I'm giving them to Taz?
Me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, now I'm blanking out on all of the characters in the show. There are too many of them. Let's go with just random gender-bending characters. First ones that come to mind are Felix, Tony, and Sarah.
Oh, that one is tough. Oh, I don't want to kill any of them. Who do you get rid of? I guess I would marry Sarah because I think she has She has a good story. I think some interesting stuff would go down with her. I would sleep with Felix because why would you not sleep with Felix? That's the only option. And then I would have to. Oh, I don't want to murder anyone.
So then
You
Tony
left
can
one
say-
option with yourself.
Tony, I would have to kill Tony, but I mean he's only been in it for an episode, so I feel like I could probably live without him, which is sad.
That's heartless.
Yeah, that's cool. I think those are some interesting questions. Let's move on to, well, I guess I want to talk about, I mean, you went to the Canadian Screen Awards, obviously, with Tatiana as her date. How was that? What was that like? Was it super exciting?
Yeah, it was cool. It was great. It was nice of her to invite me, and yeah, it was like it was weird because we were like dead center front row, so kind of was right in the middle of the action. But yeah, it was cool. It was so great to be there with everyone else from the show, and kind of the show had such a great night, and had been so well represented in the days of the Canadian Screen Awards prior. So yeah, it was just kind of a fun night to hang out with everybody and hang out with Tad and get all dressed up in a different way than we usually get dressed up. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Did you get to meet anyone, like any other actors that you were super excited to meet?
Yeah, it was more just kind of like running into people, and there was, well, like Viggo Mortensen was like, and Maria Bello were like 3 chairs down from us, so that was cool. And David Cronenberg, who's a director. And then there's a Canadian show called Rookie Blue. It's about like rookie cops, and there were a few of the actors on that I ran into and fangirled a little bit. Yeah, I think those are kind of most of the people that I talked to were from Rookie Blue. And that was cool because I like that show.
Yeah, I actually just started watching that recently. It's really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Canadian TV is it's on the ball these days.
Yeah.
So,
It's good.
I mean,
more of that.
Yeah. Tatiana she's just obviously been so highly praising of you. I mean, there's like nearly every interview she's like, I couldn't do it without her. I couldn't have this job. It would be impossible without her. I mean, how exciting is that for you? Like, it must be humbling to just to have someone so obviously so talented, but just put so much of it onto you.
Yeah, she's such a sweetheart. I can't even begin to express how like wonderful of a person she is, and she really doesn't have to give any credit to me at all, and all the credit goes to her because she does it all and she creates those characters, and I'm just so grateful to be able to work alongside her and do the best that I can to help her be the best that she can be on the show. So she is such a sweetheart, and it's definitely humbling, and I feel like there's too much praise. I was like, she needs to take the praise on herself because it is really her that. Yeah.
She seems like she's really bad at sort of just taking that on herself and not pushing it onto other people, which is crazy. Like, where's the Emmy for starters? Let's not go into that. But
I think she really is just so. It's about the work for her, and it's so much about the process, and the accolades beyond that really don't faze her much, and she'll be the first one to be like, whatever. Like, I just want to do the work, and I want another season, and I just want to play these characters more. So she's extremely grateful and humble, and is always wanting to recognize everyone that helps her get to where she is, because the crew works so hard, and it really is a show that everyone has to be behind her in order for it to work. So I think that's why she's so quick to praise everybody else, but she deserves the praise that she's getting herself because she's amazing and very skilled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think everyone who watches the show, in our hearts, she's won 2 Emmys already, so that's what matters, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. Season 2, episode 9, you got your first, I guess, on-screen role. I don't know really how you would differentiate, but of Alexis. So, this part was written for you, obviously, but when did you find out that you were going to have a part? How did that come about?
Well, I found out about Alexis maybe only a week and a half or so before the script came out, if that, really. Yeah, it was pretty. Graham Manson, the writer, just called me up and was like, "So we have a role for you," and kind of explained briefly what it would be. That I'd be in the Prolethean world, which was pretty cool. They kind of, after season 1, there was kind of talks about how we could try and fit me in there and get my face in the show somehow. So I knew that they were kind of working on it all throughout season 2. And even in season 1, there was a really small kind of silent on-camera character that they were going to have me play, but it ended up getting cut. And it was really early on, where Sarah was just discovering the other clones, and she was going to walk down the street and see someone that she thought was another clone and spin them around, but it ended up not being her. So they were going to use me for that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tumblr has always said it would have been really cool if you played the skater chick.
The skate, yeah.
And like they turn her around, it's like really meta because it's actually you, which is cool. I heard that the writers considered casting you as Gracie originally, but it was just like too much of a role. So like, would you have wanted to take on a larger role, or do you think it would have just been too much work?
It would have been great. It would have been tough scheduling-wise to have a role of that substance and be trying to schedule me as a double. So yeah, I'd like to play anything that if they want to resurrect me as someone else or keep Alexis going, that's awesome. But yeah, it did. They kind of had me in mind for Gracie, and I auditioned for Gracie. Then I think they auditioned Zoe, who got the role, and she is quite a bit younger than I am, and it kind of fits for Gracie to be younger. It's creepier because of her dad impregnating her and all that weird stuff. And I kind of, even as the midwife Alexis, I think I'm the only brunette and the only dark-haired person in that entire like Johansson Ranch cult world. So they are usually all kind of blonde and fair or redheads. So to throw me in there was I was a bit of the black sheep. But it was cool that I still got to be part of that world, because the Gracie character was pretty awesome and it would have been fun. But Zoe's so great at it that it all worked out.
Yeah, it was like I loved how she was almost as angry as Helena, but just like in a different way. So it was like Helena and her together was crazy. Do you think that she's actually gone? Will we see her again, or did she get burnt down?
Alexis?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's pretty open-ended. She could have gotten out of there. Oh, I'm hoping that the kids got out of there, so I'm hoping that she does.
Yeah, and that's what everyone kind of said. They were like, did she kill all those children? Yeah, so maybe I stopped yelling at them and threatening to give them the strap.
You became the hero. You became the hero.
Yeah,
you saved them all. And then next
I ushered them out.
You've opened a daycare center in a different city, and you're just looking after all these random, possibly clone children. And it'll be great.
And I'm kind of hoping that I was severely burned and have some cool prosthetics, and on Boardwalk Empire, the Harrow character, and he has a half mask. That would be awesome. If Alexis had half a face mask and just became really badass. That would be cool.
Yeah, she could be the Helena. She can start hunting down the clones. Oh, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe she's going to be assassin.
That's it. That's set.
I have to write Graham.
That's going to be Tumblr canon by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool. So convention-wise, obviously we've got Comic-Con and stuff coming up. Have you been to any of these kinds of conventions, or will you go to one of these conventions maybe?
I'd love to. I haven't been to any of them. I won't be at Comic-Con unless they send me an email tomorrow. But I think, as far as I know, I think Ari Millen, who plays Mark and the new male breed of clones, will be there, and I'm assuming Tat and Jordan probably, unless they're too busy. I know especially Tat's working on a lot of things right now. So yeah, that I would love to go, and I'd love to go as just a fan and hang around. But hopefully maybe the New York Comic-Con or Toronto Comic-Con for sure are a little more doable. Yeah, it would be great to go to them. I haven't yet, but I always watch the interviews and stuff afterwards, and I'm with them in spirit.
That's what I do.
Would you consider cosplaying one of the clones and then just trip everyone out? They would be like seeing Tat, except it'd be so confusing. It would be great. You should do that.
Yeah.
Go dressed as Helena in the wedding dress. It would be brilliant. I would love to see that.
A very bloody wedding dress. Yeah.
Speaking
we had
of,
like a.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say we had like a blood splatter room for that day in Rachel's apartment. It was kind of like an episode of Dexter or something. It was all plastic and cardboard, and they were just whipping blood at me. And I had to spend like 8 hours drenched in blood in that wedding gown. But it was a fun episode.
Cool. So speaking of Tumblr, which we mentioned just before, how aware are you of what goes down on Tumblr in terms of the support and things like that? Do you spend much time on there?
I know of it. I don't have Tumblr, so it's kind of like this foreign land to me that I don't quite understand. But yeah.
No one understands it.
I don't.
Yeah, it's really cool though. There's lots of really cool stuff. I have Twitter, so I do keep up with what's happening there. But my boyfriend actually, he Googled my name one night and found all the stuff on Tumblr, and he was like, "Check this out." So then we were kind of going through it all, and I showed my parents, and they got a kick out of it and stuff. So yeah, it's great that people love the show, and it really, like, you're diehard fans if you know who I am and what I do and are interested. So it's cool to kind of see what people come up with, and the love streaming in from Clone Cub. They're awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's constant every day. There's just new stuff. One of my favorite posts I did a bit of research. I went through some Tumblr posts, but one of my favorite posts about you was that there was a huge support that people wanted to see an alternate season where you were all the clones, so that they took Tat out and just made it all you. Because obviously that footage exists. I mean, you must have that somewhere. That would be so cool to see. Will we ever see this?
There's also BBC America just posted, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I think. Your intelligent creatures did like a breakdown, like a 4-minute breakdown of switching the two of you guys out, and it showed like the shots with you guys, and then it showed the shots with like Tat and the tennis balls, and then it showed, and it like was just set to a song, and they just went through that. So there are a lot of GIFs all over Tumblr of just like your face phasing into Tat's face, going back and forth. That's been coming up because I just started doing the whole Tumblr thing recently. I like made a Tumblr like years ago, but didn't start using it until after I watched Orphan Black in a week. So yeah, there are some weird things and there are some really cool things. Lots of people role playing clones. There's lots of people role-playing clones, which is interesting. And putting
the whole soccer cop phenomenon is...
I don't get it.
It's the only thing I can't get behind. I don't know if you know what that is. So obviously there's ships. People ship different characters on the show. The soccer cop is Beth and Allison. So there's a lot of content shipping those together, which is
There are a lot of people that are in denial that Beth is dead. They like to believe that she isn't dead and she and Allison are lovers.
Wow.
That is what Soccer Cop is.
She got pretty smushed under that train, but
yeah, she is.
I had to wear those prosthetics. They were.
I just think but that's also what the creators say is like what the idea was that started the show. So if Beth didn't die, there would be no Orphan Black. Yeah, that's what I always thought. But like they have names for all of the different couples and all of the different things. There's the Kofian, and then there's Cal and Sarah is called Lumberpunk. I kind of like that one. I think that one's funny. There are other ones that I can't remember. If you add Tony to Cassima and Delphine, it's called Brofine. That's the other one. That's what people do. They like to combine everybody's names. I was talking about the video that had been posted. Can you find your limbs in different shots and be like, oh, hey, look, that's my hand? Or can you notice that when you watch back the episodes? Are you like telling your family and friends as you watch the show with them, oh, hey, look, that's me?
Yeah, usually. I usually watch with my family, and mostly to explain things to them. So a lot of the time I'll be like, "That's me," when it's like not a scene where, because a lot of the times I do double Tat in scenes where she's not playing against other clones, where they just it's just kind of Rachel and Paul in a scene, but Tat is so busy that they throw me in there as well to do some coverage or to do some things from behind. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's me too. And sometimes with like the hands, I'll be like, yeah, those are my tiny little fingers. Like that's my very small hand. But so much of the time, it's so good that no one else would notice. But if you kind of backtrack it and rewind and pause it, then you can be like, oh yeah, those are your eyelashes, and that's the side of your face, and not Tat's. But yeah, it's fun.
So in terms of your other projects, obviously, I mean, I watched The Umbrella Project, which was really cool, and I know you're working on one called Bound, which you're producing. So can you tell us what that is about and when we can expect it?
Yeah, it's so Bound is a short film. It's a 10-minute film, pretty much. That's directed by Brian Kowalski and written by him and his brother. Brian happens to be my boyfriend, so it's easy to collaborate together. It's a film with 2 female characters as the central characters, and they're female street workers. And one has the chance to get out of the life that she's leading, but by leaving, she would be leaving the other one behind. So it's really kind of about kind of her decision to leave and start a new life, or kind of stay within the bad cycle that they're in, but be together. So it's a cool kind of little character piece for 2 female actresses. And it should be released by about mid-August. We're hoping to submit to Sundance. So that would be cool, and it's been, yeah, a really neat project to work on.
Yeah, what's it like, I mean, working behind the scenes? Have you done any other sort of producing or directing or anything other than just being in front of the camera before?
Yeah, I've kind of always been interested in all aspects of both theater and film. I directed a couple plays when I was in theater school, a one-woman show for myself, and then a collective that I was just the director for. And then behind the camera, I've done kind of a lot of producing with Brian. He does a lot of music videos, so I've been kind of the art director on a bunch of music videos and kind of production managed them. And then even for like the Umbrella Project, I did a lot of producing, art direction, that kind of thing for that, which was cool because it was all like 1930s costumes and locations and stuff. So.
The way that was all shot and all the lighting, I mean, I'm a film geek, so I was enjoying it every second of it, but like the fog work and stuff, super cool. And your performance is incredible as well, so congrats.
Well, that was my very first on-screen anything, so I would love to do that over.
But everyone
I think it's probably about 15 minutes too long. But it's really cool, and Brian's great with his cinematography and the lighting, and so there's some stills of that film that are great and we still love. And it's a story that I'm actually trying to think of how I can make that into another short, because I like that kind of 2 female thieves that fall in love during World War II era. It was pretty cool.
Definitely different.
Yeah.
Are there any other shows right now that you're like dying to be on? If you had a dream show.
Oh my God, there's so many. Yeah, there's so many. Talking about kind of like World War II era. Yeah, Rookie Blue would be awesome. It's shooting right now, and it's actually the same casting director as Orphan Black.
Okay, cool.
Is that Canadian? Is it a Canadian show?
Yeah, it's a Canadian show, and it's they're not rookies anymore. It's season 5, but it's kind of about rookie cops. So it's kind of an episodic show like that, and it's great. It's kind of like the Grey's Anatomy of cop shows. That's kind of how
that's what I thought when you said that.
Cool. Yeah. So that's awesome. There's a few other shows shooting in Toronto. Rain is a CW, Mary Queen of Scots. So period show, but it's kind of like a modern period. Suits is a cool like lawyer drama that's filming here. And then like The Newsroom, Boardwalk Empire, Masters of Sex, Bates Motel, Game of Thrones, like Downton Abbey. If I could be on like everything, that would be great. I'm definitely a fangirl with TV shows. Yeah, Masters of Sex, I think, is the most recent one that I watched, the first season of that, and it's awesome. You're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the direction you want to go in? I mean, obviously, if you're producing things, do you want to work more behind the scenes, or do you want to be on camera? What's like your dream goal in the industry?
My focus is definitely acting and being in front of the camera. That's what I really, really love. That's definitely my dream. But I also love to create things as well, and kind of especially when I'm starting out my career, a lot of the times you have to think of how to make work for yourself to kind of get yourself noticed, and also just stay busy when you're not lucky enough to get a job by someone else. So it's cool to work on projects from behind the camera and still have things going on. Yeah, like I just saw like Angelina Jolie has a film coming out that she's directed. So I'd always like to, if I was able to kind of have a consistent career as an actor, it would be great to still kind of take a step back and produce something that you really want to get made. So yeah, just
absolutely.
everything.
Then we got a question on Twitter in the same vein. Sorry, 1 second, just while we're talking about this topic.
Go for it.
Would you ever want to move to LA and hit up that audition circuit now, or like now that you have this under your belt? Is that a possible goal for you?
I don't think that's in my near future. I think that I would want to have more of, like, I'm Canadian. I love being in Canada, and there's a lot happening in Canada. So it would be great to have a career based here for now. And I think I would need more under my belt in Canada before I made the jump there, just so that I kind of had more behind me to sell myself in that market, and also just more experience for myself to kind of know myself a bit better, and just more experience being on camera. Yeah, I don't think I'm not one to kind of like drive to LA with $20 in my pocket and try to be an actor. I'm a bit more like, I need to have my life figured out a little bit. So it'd be great if I got a role that sent me there. That would be awesome. But yeah, I think it'll be Toronto and Canada for the time being, but who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Miriam, you had questions, please.
Yeah, and in the same vein of like behind the scenes stuff, I, as a stage manager, always like to ask actors what qualities they like in a good stage manager, just like in that vein of just like knowing what people want from the people that they're working with, and what that can be applicable to any. I think ADs are typically the equivalent of stage managers in television and film.
Yeah.
But the people that are like just there and kind of functioning everything. So
yeah, like I think for me, I like people who are organized, and you have to be organized, and people who kind of who have a good energy about them and are hard workers, and you get the work done, but also really love what they're working on and have some excitement about that, and a good energy that kind of infuses, especially working, even in rehearsals, when you're in like hour 6 of rehearsals, it's nice to have everyone kind of keeping everyone's energy up, and so that's kind of a quality that I really appreciate in everyone kind of working behind the scenes. Yeah, and just someone who is kind of in tune with the show and what needs to be done when, and has some kind of like foresight into that, and when you're calling a show, being able to kind of go with the flow, and if an actor misses their mark, being able to react and kind of help them out as much as possible. Yeah, so just kind of like energy and being organized, and having some being able to anticipate things, and really being in tune with everybody. I've worked as a stage manager quite a few times
Cool.
as well. So and an ASM, and I love it. So yeah, I
Oftentimes
appreciate everyone.
actors hate it most of the time, and all the actors after they go, "Oh, I tried that once and it was awful."
Oh, really?
Yeah, often when I get told, "Oh, I couldn't do that. To do too much." Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun.
see, I think, like, my personality, I'm very A-type and I'm very organized, and like I like having a binder full of things that all have like different colored stickies on them, and so I think that my personality fits a stage manager pretty well. But I also, and it's almost more of a challenge for me to be in like the performer, which is why I love it more, because it's not kind of what's comfortable for me. It's always a challenge, and I'm always kind of having to push myself a little bit further. So I think I do like stage management, but it's kind of like it would be a bit of the safer choice for me in a way. So that's why I like performing.
That's cool. That's awesome. That's
Great.
really cool.
So to wrap things up, what we usually do at the end of an episode is we play a game that we like to call Power, which is PWR, playing, watching, and reading. Basically, each of you is going to go through, and it's whatever show or movies you're watching at the moment, if you play video games, or maybe iPhone games you're playing, and what book you're reading. Kathryn, please. Playing, watching, reading.
Playing, watching, reading. Okay. What am I playing? I'm not a big like video game person, but I am playing. I'm very late to the rest of the world in like iPhone games, and I've started playing Candy Crush, and I'm completely addicted to it. So that's what I'm playing mostly. Watching. I just said like I finished Masters of Sex, the first season, and the second season starts soon, so I'll be watching that. But I'm also watching The West Wing, because it's a show that I had never seen, but everyone talks about how you need to watch The West Wing. So I'm in about halfway through the second season, so I'm watching that. Reading, I'm actually reading kind of the biography and some of the like letters and journals of a woman named Anais Nin, and she was a poet in the journal that I'm reading right now. I think is in the 60s, and she was kind of like a female poet and interested in, and she a whole bunch of stuff. She's a really interesting person. So I'm reading about her and reading her journals right now, and she'd be kind of a cool character to play in terms of if I was going to produce something. So that's kind of what I've had my eye on, trying to get some more information about her.
Cool. Yeah. So we might see that coming up sometime soon when you're done with Orphan Black. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I have a few ideas spinning around in my head, trying to figure out what I want to produce. So, yeah.
Awesome. Miriam, what are you playing, watching, and reading?
Okay, playing, I was going to say Candy Crush too, but I also have managed to multiple times beat 2048, which is like a feat that took me months.
But are you up to the next level? Like, I'm still stuck on 4096. I can't get to the next one.
They came out with those challenges, so I started playing the challenges instead. I'm on challenge 27 or something like that. I do play Diablo 3 every once in a while, but I have to like find a day where I'm not doing anything else, because it like 8 hours go by and I'm like, what did I do but sit around and play? Was watching. I've been watching Orphan Black on repeat because I just started watching it and I'm a little obsessed. I lie. I'm more than a little obsessed. Reading. Reading's interesting. I have a family friend who is 19 and has written a 500-page fantasy novel, and I'm reading it for the second time and helping her edit it and using my theater skills and storytelling to help her kind of find the strengths in it, so that she can get it published.
That's really cool.
Really cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and also reading A Name in the Wind.
Oh, cool. That's a good one. We actually have a book club.
Before.
We have a book club at Geek Bomb, so we had Patrick Rothfuss come on for our book club where we talked about that, which is down below if you're on YouTube, and you can watch that if you feel like listening to him talk. He's incredible.
Yeah, Toby, I'm very early on. I'm like 30 pages in. My book broke. I had to borrow a copy from somebody else.
Awesome. Toby, what are you playing, watching, reading?
I'm playing, I played The Wolf Among Us, which I wrote a review for Geek Bomb. I'm also playing FIFA, which if anyone knows me, they know that's what I'm playing. And other than that, not really much. I watched Orphan Black, obviously, and I'm also watching The Leftovers, and I'm about to watch Extant. And I'm reading, just so I know, I just realized this myself, but I'm reading An Abundance of Cathryns, and I just realized the relevance of this in the stream. But yeah, so
Nice.
I'm reading that by John Green.
That fits really well. Cool. Well, that is power for the week. We have to wrap things up. Kathryn, where can people find you on the internet? Where can they watch your short films, hear more about you?
Find me on Twitter, and you can watch my short films on my Vimeo page. So just Google Kathryn Alexandre Vimeo, and then Brian Kowalski is the director that I have done most of my shorts with. So you can check out his work as well.
And keep an eye out for Bound, which we're going to hopefully
Yeah.
see. Is that going to come out like on demand or on the internet that we can watch it as well? Or?
Yeah, it'll probably come out on the internet because Sundance is the festival that it doesn't matter if you've released it on the internet already. So yeah, keep an eye on my Twitter and I'll post it there for sure.
Fantastic. If you want to hear more from any of us, you can see that our Twitter handles are down below. You can also follow along at Geek Bombshells on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube because we have a new guest every single week. Thank you so much, Kathryn, for coming on. It was super fun to chat about Orphan Black and everything else. And
Thank you
congrats
so
on
much.
Season 3. Good luck on Season 3. So it's going to be insane.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. And this has been the Weekend Geek, the Geeks Unleashed. Drum has been dropped. Can't even say it right. We changed the name, and now it's weird. Bye.